Alright guys, this is my MO, as always. I'm gonna cover that part up. I don't want you to see my address, but it was already brought in by the time I got home. And this right here is the JD Fab Howe TC pump for a 3rd generation Toyota Tacoma. Can't wait to put it on. I don't even know what's my next mod. I mean, shoot, I think I'm done. At least for this year, because of in a couple of weeks here we got one coming in. I'm gonna be off scene for a little bit, but anyway, that's it right there. Finally arrived. JD Fab Howe TC pump. Let's go. Alright guys, so just opened up the box, laid out all the parts there. This is everything that comes with it. Obviously it comes with all the belt, all the hoses, all the bracketry, obviously the steering pump, and all these little fittings here as well. That's already been figured out by JD Fab, and the instructions. So obviously all the check-off list of what's needed specifically for the JD fabrication kit. So that's what's in this kit, and you know, we're gonna get going here. Ricardo's gonna get started, and we'll see you soon. All right, so the next thing you need to do is just make sure that you remove whatever splash guard you have here. It's already out of place. I have the arc splash guard, and then you may have to remove the reservoir and everything if you have one of these, obviously. And then, you know, you just want to make the clearance, so in order for you to be able to start removing all these wires that are, you know, running through the power steering pump, since obviously we are upgrading here. Alright guys, Ricardo was just able to take out everything as far as the power steering pump itself. That's up right there. A couple of bolts you need to take out. This bolt right here, as well as this belt, and these are the 3 bolts out of the actual reservoir. He took down the belt as well, kind of show you a little bit, and you know, you can see where it was there before. But yeah, he just opened it up right here, removed the skid plate, so he was able to work down under here, and obviously drained out the power steering pump fluid. But after that, yeah, was able to take all this out, and now and that's where all of this connects as well. This power steering pump. But now he's gonna get started and put on the new belt. As you can see, it already got started with the old one, and he's gonna put on the new belt that's gonna get in there, and then he's gonna work on the new reservoir, and as well as the steering pump, which actually
sorry for interrupting. Yeah, it's gonna be real quick. It's just gonna be belt first, and I'm gonna remove the old one, drive in the new one, put in the pump, and then start working on the plumbing and the reservoir and all that good stuff.
Yep. And all that stuff right there is going to be all the hoses and all the fittings that are in here. So stay tuned for that. All right, real quick. So now, you can see there, we took out the old line, the hard line for the radiator. And actually, they don't say that. They don't say that in the instructions, but you kind of just have to. I had to look into forms and confirmed it that, you know, the heat exchange needs to be pulled out. It's going to be used for that. That's those are the hoses, so the hard ones get replaced by those.
Alright, so right now I already removed this bolt. It goes from top to bottom like this. Right, it's gonna be going like this. This at the bottom.
Okay.
And right now, the problem that I'm running to, like I already removed the washer and the nut at the bottom. But as you can tell, right now, if I lift it up, see how it runs into the AC line?
Yes.
So I'm gonna have to move it out of the way in order so I can actually gain access. Now, this bottom arm, I might be able to actually clear it, so we might be good without the need of actually like having to cut anything or not.
Gotcha.
Like that. So yeah, but we'll see in a moment.
Okay.
So right now, I'm removing the bolt that secures the transmission lines.
Okay.
If you wanna see, so this one right here was in there. All right.
There.
Yeah, correct. And it goes like this, up. And I just remove it in order so I can wiggle the lines if I need to. I'm gonna remove this one and this one once it's time to actually take it out. And what I do, so you know where it goes.
And that's with a 10.
Just go ahead and give it a couple of threads in here. So it can be held in place or else later on. That's it. But now I'm gonna have the movement that I need once I remove this one as well. But I don't wanna jump into that yet. Just making sure I got all the clearance that I need. And then we'll go from there. Soft is gonna be returned and it's gonna be the one on the right side, because from here comes in, goes into the cooler, and then back into the reservoir. This one right here, the braided one, this is the pressure line. All right, so this is the one that is gonna go in the inside on the left side. Is that clear?
Gotcha.
Cool. So now, I'm about to crack that bitch open. Your side, then I'm gonna gain access to there, which are the ones that connect the lines. That
Okay,
makes sense?
so-
And I'm gonna remove the line. So on this one, I'm gonna remove first the line and then the fitting that goes to the rack, because that fitting makes contact with stuff. So the least amount of stuff that can catch and shit when you try to move it out, that's what we wanna do. And this one, I'm gonna go ahead and release it all the way from here right now. And I'm gonna put it in the drain pan in order so it can drain whatever it needs to drain. It should be 15/16 or 11/16.
Okay.
So take a look. First, I went ahead and removed the line.
And that's an 11/16.
That's 11/16. And now I'm removing the fitting itself, all right? Which is this one right here. So something that you can do is you can bring a socket, 11/16s, and then you can get it out.
I should have 11/16 there.
You do. Sorry, the tools are gonna be messy,
It's all good.
but we're gonna get shit done.
There it is.
Slowly but surely.
It's a tight spot.
So yeah, this line is coming from the pump.
Yeah.
Then I will give it to you, and then you're gonna lift it higher than the reservoir so we stop the dripping. Alright, so this is the fitting with an O-ring that goes in there. Alright. It should be the same thing. It's just a bitch to get to, but it's exactly the same thing. Alright. Once it starts moving. What I do is that, like by hand, kind of twist as you remove. And obviously with this one you cannot do the socket trick because you have a line.
Yeah.
That makes
That's
sense?
a direct line, yeah.
something that you can do is you have, well, we can use this one. So let me show you. You can do this. Tricky. Boom. Now I need a new glove.
I get you.
That one is no longer pouring oil. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Put a lime condom in there.
Yes. That was a 21.
That's a 21. And I'm doing leverage, just like this, like this. Alright. Till the bottom of the side. Spinning. Oh, now the bottom is spinning. Alright.
Now the bottom is what?
Spinning.
Okay.
Now,
So it's
in order
loose.
for me.
And what is the bottom? 21, same size?
See if this trick works. You put one in there, and then you fit another small one in there, and more so you can bite. But let me see, because you don't have an Allen big enough to get it in there, because the socket itself doesn't fit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I could just buy another socket set.
Not the socket.
I mean, Allen.
Allen, yeah, the Allen that is gonna fit in there. Yeah, if we can. Yeah, we're probably. I think it's gonna be a safest bet to get the Allen that will fit in there, and then hold the Allen. Do this. I know that I have the leverage in order so I can get it out. And then once it's out, then I'll fucking figure out a way. I pry on this thing in order so I can get it to clear down. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Then on this one, I'm gonna be able to massage it, not hit it, but move it out of the way in order so I can get this one out.
Okay.
Once that one is out, this one is out, then I'm just gonna disconnect. Well, I can go ahead and disconnect the rack now. Do you have a marker?
Yes, I do.
I need a marker in order so I can mark the shaft with. Let me see. I believe. Okay. Can you do key on, engine off, and then I need you to turn driver. So right now I'm removing down there the shaft that connects the steering shaft to the rack. Gotcha. Slow process. Make sure it's fully seated. You gotta remove it all the way out. If you don't remove it all the way out, then that thing is not gonna be able to slide out. Because the rack has like a little notch, and you're gonna be able to see once I remove that thing, because the bolt has to pass through that notch. Now, as you can tell, now the rack, can you go ahead and turn can you turn? Okay, so the shaft coming out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So the shaft, you're gonna see whatever we remove it, but the shaft coming out of the rack is gonna have a paint, a marking. It's gonna be in green color.
Okay.
That marking must match with the opening of that clamp.
Okay.
The bolt that I just removed. All right. So
Okay.
whenever you take it to the guys, like, hey, make sure the marking doesn't disappear because that's my alignment per se. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So whenever we put it in, another thing, your steering wheel, before we go ahead and like we're done, it needs to be locked because and you want to make sure we're at the same spot. So right now, I want to make sure that you're dead center. So right, dead center, and then you lock it. So right now I got more shaft on the left.
Mm-hmm.
Then that means that you gotta go like a turn to the right. So can you go ahead and do key on, engine off,
Okay.
to the point that you're gonna have their steering wheel straight?
Got it. So I need to go passenger.
Yes, because right now I have more shaft showing than on passenger than driver.
Okay.
Because the thing is, I want to make sure that the steering wheel is straight before we lock it and then remove it. Because if it is not straight and we just remove it, then we're not gonna know what's gonna be the point for your clock spring.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
If your clock spring gets damaged, shit show. So,
I've been there before.
it happened to you already?
Remember the clock spring problem? Well, that was different. That was the sensor. But my clock spring was broken.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
Let me show. I'll make sure. So now that I remove under
Now this is a 13, right?
12.
A 12 as well. Okay, so both of them are 12s.
Yeah. Up here 12, at the bottom 13.
Oh, got it. 12 up here, 13 bottom.
Yeah. And this is the one that you don't have to remove them all the way out. All right. You're just gonna let them loose.
Let it loose.
Because this one, these do not pass through the shaft. They just clamp.
That might be the wife.
Yeah, go ahead and address it, man.
For the motor mounts?
Yeah. So 3/8 of an inch ratchet
On the driver's side.
on the driver's side.
Interesting. It's 3/8.
No, 17th. But I used the 3/8 of an
Got
inch
it.
ratchet.
Yeah, you use a 3/8. Got it.
Then, in order for me to get it to fit, so just to let you know, the size for, where's the 3/8 right? Okay, so the size that you need in order so we can, the size that you need is gonna be 12. So size 12, as you can tell, boom, fits perfect over there.
Okay, size.
So what I did in order so I can get it to grab,
You put it in like that.
I did 1, 2, and kind of like twist it in place so it helped.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, even the size 12.
Cool.
Right now, I'm removing just this driver's side arm. And once I'm done removing this driver's side arm, then the bolt is gonna come out and then the rack is gonna come out. In order so I can have more leverage, since I cannot get a breaker bar in there, I do this. Alright, let me set myself properly so I can actually get some pressure in there. Alright. I want to make sure I'm properly seated before I put any force in there. And whenever you do this shit that I'm doing, open palm always, because there's a high possibility to slip, and then you're gonna fuck up your hand.
Ooh.
This one that looks like this is meant to be on the upper part, just like that. And then you fit it like this. Now this is the one that I'm telling you that you're gonna get hardware, graded hardware, so you can actually drive the bolt in here, but I want a washer in between. So that's what I'm telling you. You need to get a washer, 8 grade, that is gonna sit in this area with that hole, so you can drive that one in there, and you can drive the differential like that, so you can just drop them if you need to. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
The engine mount, the engine using this wood mounted on.
Alright, see how it's gonna move.
Oh, look at that. Oh. Yeah.
More than enough. That should be more than enough. Let me see.
Should be more than enough, huh?
See.
That was like 4 pumps. I think that was good.
Yeah, on this side is topped off. So take a look at the engine mount on that side so you can see. Obviously, I'm not gonna tighten or nothing like that.
Okay.
On the driver's side, it might go a little up. You know where I'm talking about. Let me show you. So, looking down there, you see that black bracket? Look underneath. So, watch your lights and watch your head, obviously, because there's sharp edges by your forehead right now.
Yep. Okay.
You see how it's going up?
Uh-huh.
There you
go. Okay. Yeah, it moved up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
okay. You're getting it.
let's see. Let me do that same thing. Alright. Remember, Louis, in order so you can actually get it out, you're gonna steer all driver, all passenger. So steer it all the way passenger. With the engine lifted, you're gonna stab it like this, and then you're gonna bring it up like this.
Mm-hmm. That was the hardest part, it looked like.
Absolutely.
But you made it look easy, man. That
Now-
only took 5 minutes for you.
Now, another thing, before we reinstall it, these bungs are like for
The rack is resealed, and now it's back in here. Lifted the engine back up, and then now both sides of the rack are in. This time we just tightened up the engine mount, which is kind of gonna be hard to see this angle.
extremely hard to see, I'll say.
Yeah, but I'll zoom in as soon as you get up from there. So let's see if I can get a good look here of the motor mount. Oh, it's kind of hard to see at this
This
angle.
is gonna be easier.
Yeah, on that side it's gonna be easier because the light is there. But before I show that side, one thing you can do is not just sand down the bungs for the steering rack, but also for the diff mount in the front. So if you sand that down a little bit, it makes it a real breeze to slide it in there. I'm like, that was nothing. Like, that was butter. That took like 10 seconds to slide it in with no issues at all. So keep the steering wheel locked. It's one way to do it, or you just have somebody hold it. And then tighten those bolts that are in the steering shaft. Okay.
All right, so this ground right here, this was the one that used to be attached to the back of this shit,
Got it.
and now it's attached all the way out here. So I did extended it to
Got it.
here,
You extended
frame.
it to the frame.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. All right. Wait a second. I want to make sure. Do you have old video before we remove this?
Let me see. Yeah.
Alrighty. So all that over there, those fittings and those lines, is gonna be 11/16. First, you undo that one right there for the high pressure. So the one on the left. First, you undo that. Boom. And then you're gonna remove the fitting from the rack. Then you're gonna be able to get access to the return line, which is the one on the right side, which is the one that has like the rubber black hose. All right. High pressure, blue hose. Low pressure, rubber black hose. Clear?
One more time.
Blue, high pressure, black, low pressure, 11/16, all the hardware in there.
Sounds good. All on camera. Alright guys, we just completed installing a JD Fab Howe TC pump, as well as showing removing and reinstalling a modified Tundra steering rack. Now, what we didn't show is just basically what we did there last, which is just installing the shaft, the steering shaft, as well as you know, basically putting in the new power steering pump fluid and getting the air bubbles out. It's a little bit of a process, but it's really not that hard. There's a lot of videos out there as how to, you know, install a modified Tundra steering rack, as well as how to remove a power steering pump. The purpose of the video is just to show you what you may run into. A couple of those though that I want to add. So because I'm running a JD Fab 934 CV and a modified Tundra steering rack, there's contact being made, specifically with the bolt at the end of the 934 CV, making a little bit of a contact on my Tundra rack, and is just making a grinding noise. So in order to mitigate that, what we did is we just added some spacer between the subframe and the steering rack, and it was enough to make some space, and you know, it basically mitigated making contact. Now what you can do is, if you want to even out on the passenger side too, you could add spacers there as well. The problem is you might make contact with the engine, and so in order to mitigate that is also to add some spacers on your engine mount to raise it up a little bit. So that's something that you can do. I didn't do that. I didn't care. I just wanted it to be functional on my, you know, driver's side, and then I ended up having to get an alignment. And the reason why I needed an alignment is because basically where we left it at, we marked a spot that had to be removed, and the reason why is because I had to get new seals on the steering rack. That's why we had to take it out. So once we put the new seals in there and took it to a shop, they got rid of that mark, so we couldn't like pinpoint where to line it up on the steering shaft. And so what ended up happening is I ran into some vehicle stability control issues, which, you know, obviously you could clear. There's plenty of things out there, as well as you know, directions, and, you know, go to the forums, as well as, you know, hitting up people on social media who may know how to do that for, you know, for you, and help you in case you run into those issues. But really, it was easy. Basically, we cleared it, and I had to get an alignment again. The old alignment hack that I did previously is not going to work this time because the teeth had moved. So because the teeth had moved, and you remove this, you know, you're gonna have to get a new alignment. And so that's all I did. I got an alignment, and everything is good to go, and it is driving like very, very smooth, like butter on the road. Yet to test it on off-roading and how it's gonna do on the trails, but just driving it on the road is like butter. It's basically making turns like nothing. But that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully it helps out somebody who is going to consider doing the same mod. Thanks a lot.